What's good, YouTube? Get your Analysis Playground t-shirts on my Facebook page. Message me. You can get any color shirt, any color logo that you want. All you're doing is customizing the logo on a shirt, whether you want it black or white, red and white, or even just a black and red like this t-shirt. But you can also change the color of the shirt. And let me know if you want one. Message me on Facebook and I can get one sent out to you. Bye. Today we're gonna be breaking down one of the most popular players in the NBA already, Donovan Mitchell, with his go-to spin move and finish around the basket. He's fast, he's quick, he's smart. He reads and reacts to the defense and just makes good decisions when it comes to finishing at the basket, whether it's holding in the air, creating a space, or even contorting his body like right here and finishing. He got all types of scoops, all types of finishes, and once he get that first step on you or go downhill like you see right here, you might as well call it over, especially since he can dunk. But we're going to focus on his finishing with the layups because that's something that he needs to continue to improve on, but something that we thought he would struggle with because he wasn't the most athletic, wasn't the most speedy guy. And, you have better competition with 6'7" shooting guards and centers that's athletic too. You don't really have that in college as much or even in high school, but he was able to adapt very quickly in this system, and he was just attacking. Once he gets that crossover, once he gets that space, he's going right to the basket and he's going to finish. And it's tough to do it when you 6'3", but he makes it look easy. And you got to give credit to Quinn Snyder for having the floor spaced out and having the lanes open. Because a lot of this, you see him getting a lot of space to get them angles and to get that shot off, whether it's a layup or a dunk. And you got to give credit to his coach. And look at all this. You got to give credit to him because he's using footwork, because he's using the spin moves. He got a lot of go-to moves that helps him score. But you also got to give credit to Quinn Snyder for pulling out a lot of them bigs and going small and forcing them not to have a rim protector, which helps them finish in the paint. But I like his floater game. He got a good in-between game. He got his push shots. He got his floaters. He got his scoop layups. And he even got his stop and pop mid-range jumpers. And he got his pull-up threes. That's something that he has perfected, getting a little space and seeing somebody have their hands down and rising above them and spraying in the three. And it's dangerous because he can get hot and he can get very confident and he can get that shot off anytime he wants because you don't want him to get the screen because he'll go to the basket, or you don't want him to get the first step because he'll go to the basket, or he'll even lob it to Gobert. So you basically trapped by sagging off him a little bit. But the fact that he can hit that three and that's one of his go-to moves is just stop and pop jumper. It makes it even harder for him to be guarded, especially as a rookie. You don't really expect a rookie to have all these moves offensively. Plus, he can play off the ball. I think he should play off the ball more, but he doesn't really play with a good point guard. Ricky Rubio is solid, but he is not the best scorer and the best threat offensively. But when he has somebody like Alec Burke or somebody that can create their own shot consistently, he becomes very dangerous. And here go that pull-up mid-range jumper that, you can't give him too much space because he'll do the floater or that too, which makes him even harder to guard. And then his ability to pass. This is an area I think he needs to severely improve on, but he hasn't played point enough. He plays off the ball every once in a while, but he can create shots for his teammates because he draws so much attention in the pick and roll when they try to trap, or even when he just creates the space by kicking it out or just making the right read by the play. He knows the offense. He knows where his teammates going to be, and he makes the right passes, as you see. And then he also gets his teammates involved. He was trailing, and they didn't pay attention to him, so he just makes the simple play, the right decision, then just drops it off to him. And even right here, he kicks out, draws two defenders. That means somebody's open. Paul George went to the wrong rotation, leaving somebody open. He makes the right read. And like I said, he can dump it off to Rudy Gobert, one of the better finishers in the league because he's so athletic and so mobile. But also in transition, Donovan Mitchell, once he gets that speed, you basically might as well give up like Corey Brewer. But he also can make plays in transition, which you don't really see as often because they're not the fastest, most athletic team, but he can do that too. What's good, YouTube? Now, for my final thoughts on Donovan Mitchell. This is a guy that a lot of people didn't really know what to expect. A lot of people thought that he would be a solid contributor. He was worth the pick that he was in. Some people say it would be the steal of the draft, but nobody thought that he'd be competing for Rookie of the Year. Not only that, the fact that he finished second and nobody expected him to come into the NBA and average 20 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. His number continues to increase as the season went on, especially after December. And then he never hit a rookie wall. He never really struggled. He did have to balance out his scoring and learn his teammates. And, Rudy Gobert came back, so they had a different dynamic, a guy that can roll to the rim, finish around the rim, and protect the paint, and that helped increase their defense. But when it came offensively, Donovan Mitchell was making plays for himself and his teammates, cutting up the defense, getting to the paint, finishing around the rim, kicking out to the shooters, pulling up the three, pulling up with the floaters and all the spin moves and everything. He had every move in the game. They kept continually saying that Donovan Mitchell, it seemed like every single month he adding something new to his game. That's how you know he's a student of the game. He has a huge IQ. When I watch Donovan Mitchell, it doesn't seem like he's trying too hard. It don't seem like he's doing too much. It seems like he's just going out there playing basketball. He got the counter moves. He knows where his defender's going to go. He's just smart. He has a huge IQ. When I'm watching him play, he does look like a veteran. You can tell that he was very well coached and coming into the NBA. Quinn Snyder, to me, is one of the better coaches, and he did put Donovan Mitchell in several areas with backdoor cuts and plays like giving him dribble handoffs and giving him spot up threes in the corner and at the top of the key, or even just giving Donovan Mitchell the top of the key. One thing I didn't talk about in the footage that I wanted to say about Donovan Mitchell, I like that he has kind of like that Victor Oladipo, that ability to go quick. It's like once he get the ball and he see a hole in the defense or he see that he can attack, he dribbles and just takes advantage of it right away like that. So if you sagging off, he's pulling up for the three. If you playing up too tight, he's dribbling, going downhill, finishing in the paint. Or even if you sagging off too far, he'll just hit the floater, hit the pull-up jumper. If you don't do that, he'll kick it out to Alec Burke. He'll kick it out to Ricky Rubio. He'll kick it out to a sniper and Joe Ingles. Or he'll even just lob it up to Rudy Gobert because you're coming up to try to contest a shot. So all he had to do is just dump it off or just go harder and lob it. But one thing I was surprised at that his array of his moves. He has so many moves that he can use to get buckets, and I didn't expect that either. I knew that he was a good scorer, but him being undersized, him not being the best athlete and having the best wingspan, even though he do have a good wingspan, but him being a little too undersized for the shooting guard position, I was surprised that he was able to go at Paul George, go at Corey Brewer, even go at guys like Trevor Ariza. Even though he did struggle in the Houston series, they had better perimeter defenders. They had better defenders specifically for him. He didn't play his best series. He did struggle a whole lot against the teams, and that's one thing. If they would have had Andre Robertson, I wonder if they would have won that series because he would be a good matchup for Donovan Mitchell, lanky, long, and athletic that can make him struggle. But then again, he was getting buckets on Paul George and Steven Adams, who's a solid defender in the interior paint, and he was finding ways to score and get buckets, whether it was getting pull-up jumpers or even finishing in the rim. I like that he uses the scoop layups because it gives him space and angles to where he can always protect the ball and still get a shot up. Worst case scenario, it get goal 10 or it barely gets blocked because when you basically gliding it to the rim, so it's you close to the basket and you gliding it, so worst case scenario you get a goal 10. So I like that he used those moves, and of course one other thing is that he's explosive when it comes to dunking. Once he gets that lane, once he gets that path, he's flying and he's finishing around that rim with a nice dunk. So Donovan Mitchell, the things I would definitely tell him to improve on is definitely his decision making a little bit. Obviously I'm not going to criticize him too much on it because he was a rookie and he was learning and developing each month, each play, even in the playoffs. He never played in the playoffs at all, and for him to win a series as one of the better players on the team and one of the focal points on the offense, it show you how high his ceiling is. And Ricky Rubio and them going down allowed him to play more point guard, which he showed that he possibly could play at in the future, some off ball or on ball point guard, giving you 6 assists in the Houston series, and he only gave you 2.7 in the OKC series. So it just showed you that he had games of 5 assists, 11 assists, 9 assists, and that shows you that he can be a capable playmaker. And I just feel like they definitely need to upgrade that point guard position. I don't think Ricky Rubio is a good fit for a guy like Donovan Mitchell. And even if they make Donovan Mitchell their point guard and get a bigger shooting guard to play that shooting guard position, whether they're 6'5", 6'6", or 6'7", he could be a a point guard, because a lot of the point guards nowadays are scorers first and they are shot first point guards, so score first point guard. So I definitely can see him playing more point if they ever want to get a better shooting guard to play that position. And obviously they have Joe Ingles that plays well with Donovan Mitchell because he can hit the threes. And then you have Rudy Gobert that can finish in the paint. So you would definitely need that 4 and that 2 position if he wants to play that point guard. But he showed that he can be good at it. He didn't play enough of it, and he did struggle making plays because he was focused on scoring. And he had get in awkward situations where he did a little bit too much because he was still learning, and he didn't do it enough. So I definitely would like Donovan Mitchell to be more of a point guard because he's the best offensive player on a team, and you want the ball in his hands as much as possible. But playmaking has been a real big Achilles heel for him, making the right passes, knowing when to score, knowing when to slow down, knowing when to pass. That's something that he hasn't had in his game, but I see him potentially improving that as next season come. And another thing is his efficiency. That's something that he's gonna have to fix too. He can be a little streaky. He can be a little hot and cold a lot. He can go in droughts when he misses a lot of shots, but he also can go hot when he makes a lot of shots. So I think definitely it depends on how Quinn Snyder uses him. And sometimes you can see that he's tired. He's doing all the dribbling, all the creating, all the spinning, and you do get tired, especially because he plays defense and they're a defense first team. You would think that that puts into that he could be tired too, trying to carry the whole offense, make all the plays, score as many buckets as he can, while also having to play defense on some of the better players too. So I think that's another thing. But I want to know what you guys think about Donovan Mitchell. He was the surprise of the season. Nobody really knew what to expect, and when he was able to get hot, he was able to stay hot for the rest of the year. Do you think that he will be an all-star next year? Do you think he will be a superstar? Or do you think he'll just be a solid number 2 option in the future? He do show signs that he can be a franchise guy, obviously helping them get out of the first round, but also being able to average 20 points a game plus after December and never really faltering under that until he played against the Rockets. Yes, they need more help. They don't have enough talent in Houston and Utah, but I feel like they made the best out of the talent that they had, and they did make a legitimate run, even though they lost embarrassingly to Houston. But I feel like they made the best out of their season, even when Rudy Gobert missed so much of the season. They still was able to make the playoffs in a tough Western Conference. But this year is going to be even harder. It's going to be even deeper in the West, and one major injury can really stop you from making the playoffs. And on top of that, now people know what Donovan Mitchell loves to do. They've been scouting him. They're prepared, so he's going to have to come into this season with new scoring moves, new playmaking moves, new handles, and some things he's going to continue to do because he's great at it, and he forces you to pick your poison, whether it's the pull-up jumper or getting the space with the spin move to scoop it up for a layup, or just coming off the dribble hitting a 3. So he's going to always be effective. He's always going to be a scorer because he has so many moves in his repertoire to score the basketball. It just more or less continuing to improve and not being complacent, and continuing to study the film to see where you can improve at, and becoming more efficient. Turn the ball over less. Take better 3-point shots. Don't get too trigger happy. Don't get too overconfident. Yes, he has the green light to take the shots and do what he wants to do, but you also have to make sure you're helping your team stay consistent. You're not making as many mistakes, and you're taking good quality shots, which helps your team because you're not giving long rebounds. You're not missing a lot of shots that turns into transition, even with the turnovers, turn into other points potentially for your opponent, and you want to cut that down as much as you can. That's why they praise guys like Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and LeBron a lot, because they're able to score, but they're doing it efficiently. They're not hurting their team because they're taking shots that they making at a consistent high level. So Donovan Mitchell, he has to learn that, but I'm not mad about it. I'm not forcing it because he was a rookie and he was continuing to learn as the season went on. And to me, the Houston series for him was humbling, but he also knows that he has more work to put in based off that series. If he wants to win a championship, if he wants to rule the West, he's going to have to put in a lot more work on his handling, on his scoring ability, on his jump shot, because it can come and go, and his 3-point shot can come and go also. And those are the things that he can continue to improve on and build upon from his rookie season. And if he's able to do that, I can see him being a 23 to 25 point scorer, even possibly more than that, depending on how many shots he gets, and can he continue to get to the free throw line and knock it down at an 80 to 90% rate, which, like I said, the jump shot could be a little shaky sometimes. But right now, he looks good. He has a lot of hype. A lot of people wants to see what he's going to do next. A lot of people think he's going to be a superstar and a franchise guy for this Utah Jazz. And he showed a lot of potential that he can be that guy and possibly can continue to build upon it. But we have seen guys like Tyreek Evans had a breakout rookie season. Never really came back to that into this year, but he still wasn't a franchise guy or superstar guy at this point. We've seen guys like CJ McCollum take that most improved player and become one of the best players, but never on that all-star level, never on that superstar level. But he is a great player in the league. He's just not an all-star or a superstar guy at this point. Maybe in the East he'd be an all-star, but in the West he hasn't even came close to making an all-star team. And the most important thing that Donovan Mitchell can do is continuing to improve his defense. I'm not saying he's a terrible defender, but that's something that as he works with the Utah Jazz, and that's one thing they focus on, I think he can put a lot more effort, a lot more fight and energy and consistency into the defensive end. And if he's able to do that, that's going to help him even make the All-Star team even better because he is already the best offensive player on his team. But also if he can become a two-way player, I've seen him get a lot of steals. I've seen him get a lot of blocks, but he has to do that night in and night out consistently. And he got to guard some of the best players because in the West, the guard positions are full of great players in the West. So that's a struggle already. But I want to see more point Donovan. I think he should be a point guard because most point guards in the league right now are 6'3", 6'4", and I think that having hit the ball in your best player hands like they did with James Harden is identical. I mean, is great, but not only that, you still don't have really a point guard because Ricky Rubio is a passer, but he's not great other than that. He is a solid defender too, but when it comes to scoring the basketball, Utah has been one of the worst scoring teams the last couple of years. And I think adding Donovan Mitchell to that point guard position, getting a legitimate 3 and D guy at that shooting guard position, or even getting a better superstar at that shooting guard position with Ingles, with Gobert, you can actually probably challenge in the West because of your defense. So let me know what you guys think about Donovan Mitchell. Do you think he'd be a superstar? Do you think he'd be a franchise guy? Do you think he just will be an all-star caliber player? Or do you think that this was all hype? This was a season that nobody knew about him. Nobody scouted him. Nobody was prepared for him, and he just took off and took advantage of it and made a name for himself. But it was all just one season, or do you think he can build upon this season, become an all-star and one of the best scorers in the league because he gets a fresh start, a full season, and he now has chemistry with his teammates, which allows him to have a better season than he had last year because he can study the game, he can study the footage, and he can improve from the things that he's seen in the footage that he has had playing this rookie year. So let me know what you guys think. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description and comment section below. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description and the comment section below. If you want a t-shirt, like I said in the beginning of the video, message me on Facebook. I can get you any color t-shirt, any color logo. Just let me know what color logo you want, the logo you want, the color you want it in, and the t-shirt color you want it in, and I can get it mailed out to you. Let me know. Thanks for the support. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, I'm gone, and let me know what you guys think. Personally, Donovan Mitchell future with the Utah Jazz.